Discover the incredible, heartwarming rescue of a mother tiger facing an unexpected python attack. The storm raged outside like a wild beast, howling winds and slashing rain turning the sky black. Emma stood at the window, her heart heavy. The farm, her family's lifeline, was struggling to survive another violent tempest. She thought of the crops, the cattle, and most painfully, her precious children, Lily and Jake. Each drop of rain was a reminder of the burdens she carried alone since her husband's sudden death. But just as despair threatened to pull her under, Jake's scream sliced through the air. "Mom! Come quick!" His voice held a mix of fear and exhilaration. Emma rushed outside, her heart pounding in her chest. In the yard, she found Jake and Lily staring wide-eyed at a sight unimaginable: a wounded mother tiger, her fur matted and muddy, struggling against a massive python that had coiled around her. Emma's breath caught in her throat. This was no ordinary day on the farm. The rain poured down, each drop drumming on Emma's skin, yet all she could see was the tiger's desperate attempts to break free. Fear washed over her, it mirrored the storm raging in her heart. "Jake, get back! It's dangerous!" she yelled, but he didn't move. Instead, he stood rooted, clearly entranced by the brutal scene unfolding before him. "Mom, we have to help her," Jake pleaded. His tiny hands balled into fists, determination etched across his face. How could Emma let him witness this? Fear was all-consuming, yet as Emma looked into her son's eyes, she realized he was mirroring her own fierce spirit. Neighbors began to gather, drawn by the commotion. Murmurs spread through the crowd, fear mingled with compassion. "That tiger's dangerous," one man said, shaking his head. "We should leave it be." Another, an elderly woman with kind eyes, replied, "No, it's hurting. We can't just stand here." Emma felt their eyes on her, like a spotlight illuminating her struggle. She was a single mother fighting for her farm and now faced with choosing whether to intervene. Every instinct screamed to protect her children, yet the cry of that mother tiger resonated deep within her. She remembered her own fight for survival, the love that tethered her heart to Lily and Jake, the sacrifices she made every day. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue with thunder rumbling overhead. The tiger roared again, fighting against the constricting python. The raw power of it echoed through Emma's veins. She needed to act, to teach her children about bravery, about standing for what was right even when fear threatened to swallow her whole. Emma wavered, torn between safety and taking a leap of faith. The urgency intensified, every second felt like hours as she gathered the strength to move. Would she and her children stand up for this wild creature, risking everything they had, or would they turn away? Inside her chest, fear and hope battled fiercely, and in that moment, she felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. As the storm swelled, so did her resolve. Emma breathed deeply, glancing at Lily and Jake, moments away from the greatest challenge they'd ever faced. Would they dare to take that step together? The answer loomed in the stormy sky above, and as thunder rumbled, Emma held her breath, waiting for the courage to surge forward. Emma felt the air charge with tension, every instinct within her screaming to protect her children. Yet the growl of the tiger, raw and desperate, beckoned her. She could see the pain etched in its eyes, an agony that mirrored her own struggles as a mother. It was more than just a wild beast in need, it was a reflection of every fight she faced daily. "Mom, we can't just watch," Jake shouted again, stepping forward. His small frame seemed to swell with determination, like a tiny warrior standing tall against the darkness. Emma felt her heart clench. He was right. What kind of lesson would it be to turn away now? With a sudden surge of courage, she grabbed the shovel that rested against the barn wall. "Stay close," she commanded, her voice firm despite the dread that threatened to pull her back. Lily clutched her hand tightly, fear evident on her face, but Emma knew she had to act for the tiger's sake, for her children's sake. The neighbors murmured, uncertainty rippling through them. But Emma's focus narrowed to the struggle in front of her. The massive python tightened its grip around the tiger, slick scales glistening ominously in the rain. Thunder cracked above, drowning out Emma's pounding heart momentarily. On three, she whispered to Jake, whose eyes were wide yet fierce. "Okay," he replied, barely able to hide his excitement beneath his fear. Emma counted down, each number igniting her resolve. 1, 2, 3. They charged forward together. Emma swung the shovel against the python, aiming for the tough scales. The impact startled the serpent, causing it to loosen its coil, if only for a moment. The tiger gasped, a desperate breath of freedom, but the formidable python quickly retaliated. It writhed, striking at Emma, who instinctively stumbled back. But Jake rushed forward, his small body colliding with the creature's tail, propelling it away from the tiger. Somehow, his bravery seemed to shield them from the danger. In the midst of chaos, Emma saw an opening. "Lily, grab its back leg," she shouted, adrenaline pumping through her. Lily hesitated but then nodded, darting around to follow her mother's command. Moments felt like hours as they worked in frantic synchrony. With each swing of the shovel, Emma could see the tiger growing stronger, almost sensing the help as it fought back against its captor. The python's grip began to falter with each fierce scream and determined strike. Suddenly, the tiger surged forward, using its powerful body to shake off the remaining hold of the python. With a final heave, it whipped its hind legs, sending the snake sprawling across the ground before slinking back into the underbrush. Emma's heart raced as they all took a step back, breathless, eyes wide as they watched the tiger stand tall amidst the rain. Bloodied but victorious, the crowd erupted into cheers, seasoned farmers' faces lit with the thrill of witnessing nature's raw power. Emma turned to Jake and Lily, pulling them both into a tight embrace, their laughter weaving together in the storm. But as her heart soared with relief and pride, something nagged at her. The mother tiger turned toward them, gratitude emanating from its striking gaze. Then, without another moment, it melted back into the shadows of the dense trees, leaving only the echoes of its battle behind. Emma felt a swell of emotion harden into a pit of dread. It was not just a fight for survival anymore, it was a reminder of life's fragility, one that could still slip away. What happens now? She wondered aloud, looking down at her beaming children. Before either of them could answer, a piercing wail split the air. It was a cry they all recognized too well, a baby, perhaps lost or injured. The storm had revealed more than they bargained for, and now they faced another choice. Would they step into the unknown once more? "Emma!" a neighbor shouted, his face pale with urgency. "Listen. We need to help." Emma took a breath, her heart pounding again. What awaited them in the storm? Would she be able to guide her children through the next challenge? The weight of uncertainty settled upon her as she exchanged glances with Jake and Lily. And then, just like before, the call of duty surged within her. Emma stood frozen for a split second, the urgency in her neighbor's voice piercing through the adrenaline still coursing in her veins. The wail echoed again, raw and heart-wrenching, pulling her thoughts away from the tiger's victory and back to the reality of another impending crisis. "Mom, what should we do?" Jake's question broke her reverie. His tiny face was scrunched in worry, his hands grabbing at her jacket. Lily, too, was looking up at her, wide-eyed and trembling. "There's a baby out there," Emma began, her voice steadying. "We have to find it." She tightened her grip on the shovel, now feeling it was not just a tool for defense but a symbol of their strength, the family united against whatever dangers the storm might bring. Without hesitating, she led the way as they stepped into the downpour, the rain plastering their hair to their heads. Each pounding step matched the rhythm of her heartbeat, a drumroll of dread mixed with hope. The wails punctuated the torrential sound of the storm, guiding them deeper into the woods. "Stay close, hold hands," she instructed, the three of them forming a small chain of trust. The trees loomed like watchful guardians, their branches heavy with rain, the the world around them an unrecognizable landscape of flashes and shadows. "Here. Over here." A voice came from their right, a neighbor waving his arms. Emma's heart raced. She dashed toward the sound, pulling Jake and Lily along. As they neared, the sight before them shook her. A small fawn lay on the ground, shivering and trapped beneath a broken branch. The neighbor knelt beside the trembling creature, his hands gentle. "It must have been separated from its mother during the storm," he said, his voice soft. "We need to lift the branch and get it out." Emma nodded, instinctively taking charge once more. "Jake, Lily, stand back." She swung the shovel and pried, shuddering at the sight of the vulnerable animal beneath her. The neighbor helped her lift it clear, and the fawn bolted upright, its tiny legs trembling. "Can it walk?" Jake asked, leaning forward in concern. Emma knelt next to the fawn, its large doe eyes wide and frightened. "It can," she whispered gently, reaching out. "But it needs to feel safe." In that moment, the downpour softened, as if nature itself paused to witness their small rescue. Emma could feel her children's curiosity wrapped in compassion, the bond between them tightening as they huddled together, caring for this creature in dire need. Suddenly, the branches rustled nearby. Emma's heart sank. Was it the mother? Panic raced through her veins as she looked into the shadows. But instead of a deer, an animal emerged that made her heart drop, the tiger, injured but close enough to sense the atmosphere. It approached the fawn, not with hostility but with a gentle inquisitiveness that took Emma by surprise. "Look!" she gasped, gripping Jake's shoulder as they all froze in awe. The tiger sniffed the air, eyes reflecting an ancient wisdom. In that moment, an unspoken understanding passed between them. Between predator and prey, between wildness and the fragility of life. The fawn took a tentative step forward, and Emma held her breath, waiting. Would it run? Would the tiger strike? But instead, the tiger lay down, lowering its head as if to say, "I only want to protect, like you." Emma felt warmth bloom in her chest, an unexpected connection knitting them all together. Just then, a sound crackled through the trees, a loud snap followed by a distant rumble that reminded them of the storm just overhead. Emma's heart raced. If the wind could push over trees, if it could tear apart homes, how long before they were caught in another struggle? "Mom!" Jake cried, shaking her arm. "What do we do?" Emma looked from her children to the tiger, then back to the fawn. The storm was still outside, but now they faced a new dilemma, one where compassion and the wild collided. Could they trust the tiger? Could this moment be a chance for healing? As she pondered, a flicker of movement in the corner of her eye caught her attention. A family of deer had emerged from behind the trees, cautiously drawn by the soothing presence of the tiger. Where would this unexpected turn lead them? Emma swallowed hard, realizing the remnants of their battle had somehow woven them into an intricate mosaic of life. "What comes next?" she whispered, a mix of fear and hope, as she together with Jake and Lily waited in uncertainty. Would they risk vulnerability once more, or would the shadow of the past loom too large? The tension hung thick in the air, mingling with the droplets of rain as Emma held her breath. The wild had called for their attention, and she felt its weight settling on her shoulders. The tiger, still low to the ground, seemed more guardian than predator now, its powerful body radiating a confidence that made the fawn a little bolder. "Mom, is the tiger going to hurt the baby?" Jake whispered, holding on tight to his sister. His fear was palpable, and it tugged at Emma's heart. She shook her head, trying to project calmness. "I don't think so, sweetheart. It seems like it wants to protect just like us." Emma looked into the tiger's eyes, searching for any sign of aggression. Instead, she found something softer, a flicker of understanding. Maybe it sensed the storm, too, maybe it knew that for now, they were all in this together. The deer family drew closer, their graceful forms weaving cautiously through the underbrush. Each step they took was a dance of trust, fueled by a shared desperation for survival. Emma felt a warm rush of hope swell within her. There was something miraculous in the air, something that could only be born from the chaos of nature's pulsing heart. Jake and Lily watched, wide-eyed, as the young deer nuzzled against the fawn, bringing it both comfort and company. Emma knelt down, brushing her fingers through their soft fur. "Look how they're all helping each other," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's not just about us anymore. It's about everyone, the wild, the lost, the family." But just as she tried to grasp onto that fragile connection, a loud crack resounded through the woods, sending a rush of panic coursing through her veins. A tree had fallen nearby, the sound like thunder in the quiet chaos. The animals scattered, fear igniting their instincts to run. "No, wait!" Emma shouted, reflexively reaching out to grab Jake and Lily as they instinctively began to pull away from the scene. The tiger's response was even swifter. It bounded up, gaze darting towards the sound before locking onto the direction of the fawn, ever intent on its safety. Then, with a swift motion, the tiger lunged, sensing danger before the humans did. Emma's heart raced as she saw it scamper past the trees, muscles rippling with power, protecting the fawn from whatever might have unnerved it. "What is it?" Jake cried, a tremor in his voice, but before Emma could answer, something terrifying emerged from the shadows, an enormous python, thick and sinewy, slithering towards the group with an unsettling grace. It was drawn by the commotion. Thinking of the small creatures as an easy target for its next meal, Emma felt a wave of panic rush over her. The tiger was distracted, caught up in its own protective instinct toward the fawn, leaving them vulnerable. "We need to move back," she shouted, her voice cutting through the noise of the storm. "Everyone, hold tight." Just when Emma thought the chaos would swallow them whole, the tiger turned, lunged toward the snake, and with a powerful swipe, sent the serpent tumbling away from the defenseless fawn. It was a heart-stopping display of raw power and instinct, a fierce devotion that ignited Emma's courage. "They're all connected," Emma thought in awe, feeling her family's grip on each other growing tighter. But more importantly, in this dance between predator and prey, they had found a familial bond stronger than she could have imagined. "Come on. Let us help them," Emma yelled over the roar of the rain, adrenaline surging through her. What if they could save both the fawn and the tiger? With Jake and Lily trailing behind, Emma pressed forward, the uncertainty of the moment etched into her soul. Risking everything, laying her trust in the power of their unity, she raced into the fray. Could they really rescue these two vulnerable lives? The storm's fury raged around them, but Emma knew the fight was not over. This moment was just the beginning, and with her children by her side, they would face whatever came next together. Emma's heart thundered in her chest as she sprinted deeper into the woods, the rain hammering down like a relentless drummer. She could barely see through the cascading drops but felt a surge of determination welling up inside her. She glanced back at Jake and Lily. Their faces were painted with fear, but there was something fiercer now, an understanding that they were not just bystanders. They were part of this wild moment. "Stay close," Emma urged, her voice steady despite the turmoil around them. As they raced forward, visibility grew dimmer, but she felt her senses sharpening. The chaotic rhythm of nature filled her ears, the rustling of wet leaves, the distant crack of lightning, the echo of her children's quickened breaths beside her. The tiger remained a few feet ahead, confident, muscular, paws moving with purpose. Emma wanted to believe it could save the fawn from the python and protect them all from the storm's wrath. But time was running out, they had to act fast. Then, just like that, the tiger turned and locked eyes with Emma. The connection was electric, a moment of recognition that both set her at ease and put her on high alert. They were not just two creatures from different worlds, they were allies in this dance of survival, woven together by an unexpected thread of compassion. "Follow the tiger," Emma yelled, and without needing another word, her children nodded, instinctively trusting her. As they moved, Emma spotted the fawn darting away, closely followed by its frantic mother. The python was regrouping, now realizing that its prey was slipping through its grasp. Emma felt a rush of adrenaline. "We've got to redirect it," she cried, knowing full well how dangerous this could be. Clenching her fists, she recalled the small rocks and branches littering the forest floor. Quickly, she bent down, grabbing a handful of pebbles while Jake and Lily followed suit, their eyes wide with both concern and determination. "On my count," she whispered, her heart racing, "we throw." "Okay." Jake whispered back, his voice full of both fear and excitement. 3, 2, 1, toss. Emma shouted, and the three of them flung their stones. The pebbles sailed through the air, striking the python, causing it to reorient momentarily. It hissed in surprise, a menacing sound that made the hairs on the back of Emma's neck stand up. The tiger was swift, taking advantage of the momentary distraction. It charged, muscles rippling, and with a powerful leap, bore down on the serpent, showcasing its raw, primal strength. Emma caught her breath, all flooding her heart. Go, go. She encouraged her children, motioning them toward the fawn and its mother, who hesitated at the edge of the thicket. They needed to be led to safety. Together they dashed forward, Lily reaching out for the fawn's tiny form, her voice soothing. It's okay, we're friends. As if understanding, the fawn took a hesitant step toward her, its mother watching closely, filled with instinctual fear of both predator and human. Emma felt a surge of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could bridge that gap, but the python wasn't finished yet. It writhed, anger roaring through its scales as it shifted toward the tiger, the ground trembling beneath it. Emma's stomach dropped. Could they fall back into danger? Jake. Lily. Stay with me. Emma shouted, panic seeping into her voice again, her hands balling into fists. The tiger roared, a primal sound rumbling through the furious storm, a warning and a rally to their collective fight. Then a flash of lightning illuminated the tumultuous scene, a stark reminder that chaos surrounded them. Would they be able to fend off the python and protect the fawn? The fight was just beginning, and Emma knew they would have to dig deep to face what was coming next. As they prepared for whatever the storm and the wild threw at them, a thrilling sense of purpose surged within her. What would happen next? The battle of will between the tiger and the python? Would they all emerge from this storm stronger, or would nature remind them just how fragile life truly was? Emma's heart raced, her thoughts tangled in a web of urgency and fear. The thunder rumbled overhead like a warning bell, but she pushed it aside, focusing on the immediate danger. The tiger had lunged toward the python, a blur of stripes and fury. Get the fawn! Emma shouted, her voice straining against the chaos. She darted forward, her eyes fixed on the fawn, still trembling and hesitating at the treeline. Lily, Jake, stay close. We can't lose sight of it. The children's limbs moved quickly, each step brushing against soaked foliage, their breaths coming in quick, little gasps. Lily skirted ahead, her wild curls sticking to her forehead like wet leaves. Jake clutched his mother's hand tightly, his wide eyes darting between the unfolding drama of predator and prey. The tiger, strong and majestic, had its eyes squarely aimed at the python. With a fierce growl that reverberated against the falling rain, it struck again, claws flashing and teeth bared, a guardian amid the storm. Emma felt a surge of admiration for the creature, wondering if it could channel its ferocity to protect them all. Go. You can do it. Emma coaxed, pride filling her voice. The fawn hesitated, craning its neck, and Emma heartily wished she could explain, trust us. We're here to help. The python, angered by the distraction, coiled back, fueled by its own fierce instincts. It lunged, snapping its jaws in a vicious display, right toward the tiger. The moment hung in the air, and Emma could almost taste the tension, metallic and charged. Lily, throw those stones again. Emma turned and called, just as another clap of thunder made the ground tremble beneath their feet. The children quickly grabbed more pebbles, their small hands shaking with both fear and adrenaline. Ready! Lily yelled, her voice rising above the chaos. 1, 2, 3. As rocks launched into the fray, time slowed. Emma watched as the stones struck the python once more, and it hissed, momentarily distracted. The tiger lunged into action, a magnificent blur of strength and instinct. It was extraordinary, an animal fighting not only for itself but for the spirit of the wild. Come on! Emma urged, her heart thundering. She instinctively pulled Jake closer, their breaths mingling as they ran forward. The fawn, sensing opportunity, took a tentative step free of the underbrush. Suddenly, the world felt alive, the rain, the unfolding battle, the cries of the stormy heavens. It was a wild symphony, a testament to survival woven together with moments of grace. Lily reached out, her small hand stretching toward the fawn. "Come here, little one," she encouraged, eyes sparkling with both fear and hope. Just as the fawn approached, eager for safety, the python reeled back, furious and unrelenting. "Back! We need to go back," Emma shouted, knowing they couldn't risk being caught up in the chaos of this primal clash. But before they could retreat, the tiger released a deafening roar that shuddered through the forest. It felt like it was challenging the storm itself as it stood fiercely between Emma's family and the formidable foe. "Stay together," Emma cried. She felt the storm inside her, a fierce determination. They were all connected in this moment, humanity intertwined with nature, battling the echoes of fear. Then, just when it felt like all hope might fade, a strangled cry pierced the air. The fawn stumbled, but then, sensing the tiger's silent vow to protect, it dashed forward into the open space, hearts pounding, eyes sparkling with newfound urgency. Emma could see freedom in its eyes. Would they escape together? Could they overcome this storm, and would the tiger continue to fight beside them? She took a deep breath, wishing she could anchor her determination into her children's hearts. All at once, the world twisted again. Lightning lit the sky just as Emma heard a chilling sound. It was the python, striking again, but this time, it was coming for them. "Run!" she screamed, her mind racing as she pulled her children close, ready to face whatever came next. Heart pounding, hope flickering. Would they find safety, or would nature's unpredictability engulf them in its wrath? Emma's breath hitched as she felt the ground quake beneath their feet. The python, an ancient killer, coiled its long body, its beady eyes locked onto them with chilling intent. If there was ever a moment to run, it was now, and she couldn't afford to waste a second. "Go, go, go," Emma urged, her voice a command wrapped in desperation. The rain hammered down, soaking them to the bone, but they pressed on, hearts racing, fleeing from the wrath of the serpent's strike. Lily and Jake stumbled alongside her, feet slipping on the slick earth as panic gripped them. Emma's hand felt small as she clasped Jake's, a shield against the fear creeping into their hearts. "Stay close," she shouted, forcing a calmness that she didn't feel. The tiger's roars thundered behind them, a rallying cry, yet Emma could not shake the dread that washed over her like the rain. The fawn, their unlikely ally, had wandered dangerously far now, and she could see it struggling against the underbrush, trying to escape. A flash of lightning illuminated the tangled branches, and Emma saw it freeze, caught in the conflicting instincts of flight versus fight. Time slowed as she weighed her options. They had to protect the fawn. It was the only way she could be sure someone else would survive this chaos. With a firm grip on Jake, she yelled, "Lily, help me get the fawn." Her daughter nodded, determination replacing the earlier fear in her quickened steps. Just then, the ground erupted in a violent display of motion. The tiger was charging now, a fierce determination driving it forward. It was magnificent and terrifying all at once. Emma watched as the tiger flexed its powerful muscles, closing the distance between itself and the python. "Don't stop," she urged again, rallying the children. They raced ahead, Emma and Lily making a hurried path through the foliage toward the fawn, willing it to move. Just a few more steps, the python struck, snapping its jaws. The tiger leaped aside, narrowly avoiding the deadly bite. Emma's heart pounded in rhythm with the rain, urging her forward. She felt the weight of the world pressing in as she focused on that fawn, desperately trying to angle her body between it and imminent danger. "Come on, little one," Lily cried out, her small voice cutting through the thunder. Somehow, amid the chaos, the fawn seemed to sense the urge to move, and it blinked wide-eyed at the children. Then, a moment of recognition flared in its gaze, and with a leap, it broke free from the brush toward the safety of Emma and her kids. "Now!" Emma shouted triumphantly, relief flooding her veins as the fawn raced for them. But the python, furious and relentless, turned its focus back onto them. The air felt thick, charged with tension, as Emma pulled Jake close and prepared to dart in the opposite direction. "Tiger!" Emma screamed, hoping the creature could hear her above the storm. "The tiger needs us." In a moment that felt forever suspended, their eyes met the tiger's, It sensed their fear and responded with a powerful roar that shook the very ground beneath them. The fawn was close now, just a few feet away. The tiger's intimidation tactics were working. It charged at the python again, buying them precious seconds. Emma grabbed Lily's hand, pulling her along as they stepped toward the fawn, hearts brimming with hope, when suddenly, a loud crack split the air. A tree above them, unable to withstand the relentless storm, began to fall. "Duck!" Emma shouted as she shielded Jake, and Lily instinctively crouched low. Would they make it through this? Would the tiger's bravery be enough? Just then, Emma caught sight of the python slithering toward them, its forked tongue flicking as it prepared for one more strike. Her heart raced. How could this get any worse? In that frantic moment, she realized they had to act fast, or they wouldn't just lose the fawn, they'd lose everything. But then a surge of instinct flared within her, igniting an idea. If they could distract the python long enough, maybe they could escape. The fawn was almost in reach, and with the tiger keeping watch, they just might turn these odds in their favor. "Lily, throw rocks. We need to draw its attention." The children snapped into action, scrambling for stones as the python lunged forward. Would this be the moment that turned the tide, or was it too late? Emma's breath caught in her throat as she prepared to face the battle ahead head-on. The storm raged on, each gust of wind a menacing whisper in Emma's ear. The children's cries mixed with the sound of the rain, creating a symphony of urgency. Emma quickly snatched a handful of rocks, her mind racing. She waved her arms, gesturing wildly toward the python that was now mere yards from them. "Hey! Over here!" she shouted, hoping to draw the serpent's attention away from the children and the fawn. Lily and Jake began to hurl stones, their small bodies trembling with fear yet filled with a newfound determination. The rocks crunched against the wet soil as Emma kept her focus, darting glances between the python and the fawn that still lingered nearby. Frozen in fear, the python turned its gaze, medium finally shifting from the children to the flying missiles. Emma felt the weight of hope shimmering in her chest but knew they were far from safe. The giant snake hissed, its forked tongue tasting the air, searching for its next target. "Go, fawn. Now!" Emma urged, her heart pounding. Slowly, the creature began to inch forward. With a swift, calculated move, the tiger lunged again, snapping a paw near the python. It roared, its ferocity echoing through the rain-soaked forest. The sound reverberated against Emma's heart, momentarily stealing her courage. The bravado of the tiger lit a fire inside her. "Lily, Jake!" Emma shouted, "Now's our chance. Get the fawn!" They dashed toward it as the fawn hesitated, caught between instincts. But just at that moment, it glanced back at Emma and the children. They were its lifeline. It leapt. Emma felt the world narrow to a point as the fawn sprinted toward them. Hope and fear coiled tightly in her chest, blending with adrenaline. But the python was preparing to strike again, its eyes narrowing, energy coiling like a spring. "Keep throwing. Keep it distracted," Emma said, her voice a unifying shout. More rocks flew, scattering the mud, but the python's focus was shifting back and forth, less attuned to the children. The fawn bounded closer, just a few feet away now. Emma extended her arms toward it, every nerve in her body pulsing with urgency. Come on," she urged, her voice emerging as a soft plea beneath the thunder. The fawn hesitated just shy of reaching them, its eyes wide, uncertain. And then, in a split second, as if sensing the life-threatening urgency, it sprang forward, nuzzling Emma's hand. Relief surged through her as she pulled it close, tucking it under her arm. "Got it!" she cried, just as the tiger delivered a ferocious blow to the python, knocking it off balance. The moment felt electric. The python hissed, turning to confront the tiger again, but Emma knew they had only seconds. "Lily! Jake! This way!" she yelled, her voice breaking through the roar of the rain. They needed to move, and quickly. The road ahead was treacherous, but not as dangerous as staying here. Lily moved first, her small hand gripping tightly to Emma's, pulling Jake along. The three of them alongside the fawn tore through the gloom under the branches while the tiger fought the python, sending the struggling beast momentarily into disarray. But a deafening crack of thunder pierced the sky, and Emma realized they couldn't count on the tiger forever. The risk was escalating, and every second counted. She made a choice: they had to find safety. "Follow me," Emma cried, leading them toward a darker part of the woods, hoping it would provide cover. Just as they rounded a thick tree, the ground trembled again beneath their feet. Emma's heart dropped. They needed a safe haven, but how far could they outrun the storm of chaos trailing behind them? A low growl echoed back, and as Emma glanced over her shoulder, she saw the python recovering, its massive form rising yet again, furious and even more determined. What would they face next? Would the tiger manage to buy them the time they needed? Emma clenched her fists, the weight of responsibility bearing down on her, and in that fleeting moment, she knew they were in for the battle of their lives. Would they find refuge, or would the python reclaim its strength? Time seemed to pause as tension hung in the air. Branches whipped against their faces as Emma and the children plunged deeper into the woods, hearts racing wildly. The roar of the storm echoed like a monster-esque growl, reminding them of their fragile reality. The fawn trembled against Emma, its body small and shivering, but it remained close. "Keep moving," Emma urged, her voice crisp and commanding despite the fear swirling within her. She pushed through the underbrush, her legs struggling against the thick mud that tried to suck her down. Lily gasped behind her. "Emma! Are we safe?" The innocence in her voice cut like a knife. "Not yet," Emma called back, her resolve hardening with each pulse of thunder. The world had grown dark and chaotic, but she felt an unwavering determination fueling her steps. She would protect these kids, she would find them safety. Jake stumbled, the rocky ground betraying him. Emma whipped around, her heart racing, but before she could run back, she saw the fawn nudge him gently as if urging him to get back up. A small spark of hope ignited in Emma's chest. This fragile creature fought as much for them as for itself. "Come on, buddy. You can do it," Emma coaxed, met with a resolute look from Jake as he climbed back to his feet. With each step, the sounds of the battle behind them persisted, a discordant symphony battling against the lashing rain. Every growl of the tiger and hiss of the python felt like a clock ticking loudly, reminding them that time was running out. "Just a bit further," Emma shouted, urging the kids onward with urgency. They stumbled into a clearing, a small, hidden grove shielded by thick trees on all sides. Panting heavily, Emma turned to scan the surroundings. It felt safer here, but the python's vengeful energy loomed just behind them. "There." She pointed at a large, hollowed-out log nearby, half sunken into the ground. "If we can get inside, we might be able to hide from it." Lily and Jake nodded, instinctively understanding that they had to work together. They dashed toward it, the fawn darting behind as if echoing their movements. As they approached, Emma felt her heart thudding furiously in her chest. She glanced over her shoulder. The agitation of the python was fierce and immediate, closing in on the grove. They dove into the log, pressing against each other while clutching the fawn protectively. Inside, the damp earth mingled with the smell of damp wood, creating a cozy haven, but it felt anything but safe. "The tiger," Jake whispered, eyes wide as he realized the grave danger they had just escaped. "It's fighting for us," Emma reminded him, squeezing his hand. "We can't give up hope." The rain pelted outside, relentless and wild, but together they huddled. As they listened to the thunder and distant growls, Emma caught herself thinking of the tiger's bravery. It wasn't he just a fierce beast, it was a protector, a mother fighting against the odds for something it could lose. Tears welled up in her eyes as a wave of admiration washed over her. She thought of her own mother, how she would shield her no matter the cost. "That tiger," Emma murmured, "it believes in us. We have to believe too." Just then, a chilling hiss sliced through the panic, a hissing that felt more alive than anything they had faced so far. Emma's grip tightened on the children. They had to stay quiet. Suddenly, the ground around them trembled. It was a terrifying reminder that the threat wasn't too far away. How long could they hide? Would the python give up? In that moment of uncertainty, their breaths seemed to synchronize with nature's fury. Would the tiger's bravery inspire them to fight? Or would fear consume them all? Emma knew their survival depended on understanding that together, they were stronger, but how much longer could they remain hidden before the storm found them again? The storm raged on, but inside the hollow log, time seemed to stretch into eternity. Emma's heart raced, echoing in her ears like a persistent drum. She could hear the python outside, its hissing slithering into their refuge, as if it were looking for them. Would it find them? Would the tiger manage to distract it long enough? Emma held her breath, feeling Jake and Lily's small hands wrapped tightly around her. "We need to be brave," she whispered. "Just like the tiger." The children nodded, their faces pale but resolute. Suddenly, another roar erupted from the depth of the forest. The sound was both terrifying and reassuring, a powerful reminder of the tiger's protective presence. "It's fighting for us," Emma said softly, pride swelling in her chest. The notion that this wild creature cared not just for its own survival but for them as well filled her with an unexpected strength. They weren't alone. Through the whisper of the wind and the pounding rain, Emma felt a stirring in her gut. "We have to get out of here," she decided, her voice steady and strong. "We can't wait any longer." The three of them inched closer to the entrance, peering out to assess the storm-tossed world beyond. "Do you think the tiger's okay?" Jake whispered, concern lacing his voice. Emma made eye contact with her son, searching for a way to ease his fear. "It's strong, just like us." As they braced for the journey ahead, the roar of the tiger broke through once again. This time, it was accompanied by a thundering crash. The branches of a nearby tree splintered and fell, creating a cacophony of noise. "Now," Emma urged, adrenaline surging through her veins. "On my count, we go." "Okay." Lily and Jake echoed, tightening their grips on each other. 1, 2, 3. With a shared leap, they burst from their hiding place. The rain slammed against them as they navigated the thick underbrush, the world a blur as they raced toward the source of the battle sounds, and then they saw it, the tiger, engaged in an epic struggle against the python, both beautiful and terrifying in the wild chaos of the storm. The python coiled around the tiger, tightening its grip, trying to ensnare its prey. Emma felt an electric pulse of fear race through her but grounded herself with the sight of the tiger's fierce eyes. "Simon," she called, her voice rising above the roar of the storm. "We can help." With newfound determination, they picked up sticks and stones scattered about, launching them at the python. The sound of the clash of nature roared around them, the thunder, the rain, the cries of encouragement. The tiger, in a moment of fierce clarity, turned its powerful gaze towards Emma, as if sensing their intentions. With a triumphant growl, the tiger shook off its momentary entrapment, pushing the python back and giving it a vicious swipe with its claw. For Emma, it was both awe-inspiring and clarifying, a primal dance beautifully choreographed between life and death. "Let us do this together," Emma shouted to her children. "Keep throwing." She launched a stick with everything she had, aiming for the python, feeling every ounce of fear and love channel through her. Jake and Lily joined in, their voices lifting in a chorus of support. Another hiss pierced the air, this time from the python, irritated and angry. It lunged again, but the tiger surged with renewed energy, rising to full height, a magnificent protector in the storm. They all saw it, predator and prey, together, facing the chaos of the wild, but just as hope glimmered, the python struck out, hissing furiously. Emma's heart dropped. "Watch out!" she yelled, pulling her kids another step back. "Make way for the tiger." Without warning, the tiger pounced at the python, strong claws catching the serpent off guard once more. The force of the blow sent the python careening back once again. "Go! Now's your chance!" Emma cried, urging her children forward. They charged into the fray, their hearts pounding in rhythm with the sounds of their surroundings, a chaotic symphony of thunder, roars, and the fierce spirits of mothers and children uniting to fight for their lives. In that moment, the fauna, testament to nature's fragility, found its courage, darting between Emma and the tiger, seeking refuge alongside them. A striking clarity fell over Emma as she bore witness to all that had unfolded, the strength of the tiger, the resilience of her children, the interconnected spirit of family, both wild and human. Just then, the tiger roared once more, a defining call that echoed through the storm. That sound didn't just weave through the darkness but blasted a beam of hope. The python recoiled, its focus shifting. It was now or never. "Let us finish this," Emma shouted, with resolve coursing through her. "Together." And with that, they hurled everything they had, their strength, their unity, their roaring spirits, into the heart of chaos. The storm rumbled above, but for the first time, it felt less like a threat and more like an anthem. Emma saw the tiger leap forward again, a blur of stripes and purpose, strong and graceful, driving the python toward the underbrush. It was a moment of triumph and the wild, a raw, beautiful connection between every soul layered in nature's chaotic embrace. As the dust began to settle, the python struggled one last time before finally slinking away, defeated. The jungle seemed to breathe a collective sigh of relief as the tiger stood tall over the victory, a fierce guardian, now back with the family it had fought beside. Emma turned to her children, their eyes wide and filled with irrevocable wonder. "We did it," she whispered, tears mingling with the rain as she crushed them both into her embrace. "We did it together." From above, thunder rolled softly, but the air was lighter now, filled with electric promise. Families could survive storms, the wild would always find a way, and sometimes it took a community to light the path forward. In that moment, no words were necessary. They felt the bond deepening, human and animal alike, united by compassion and courage, threading their stories into the fabric of life itself. Emma smiled, her heart swelling with pride for the battles fought, for the love that had emerged against adversity. They turned back toward the farm, their home, and walked forward together, ready to face whatever storms life would throw their way. And now she thought this was just the beginning. If you're inspired by this heartwarming story of bravery and transformation, don't wait another second. You need to subscribe now to our channel to stay ahead of exclusive stories like this. Also, leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us grow. We've shared an incredible journey today. Comment your reactions and feelings about this thrilling ending. And please, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Your support means everything and shows that only true fans appreciate these powerful stories. Don't wait.